Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my channel, Miss Yogi Chic. My name is Alyssa. Today we're going to be working on opening up our hips and gently releasing that tension that tends to build up, especially if we're emotional or stressed. We hold a lot of that in our hips. So let's work on releasing that. You're going to need a blanket. So make sure you have a blanket any size and a couple of blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, you can always use a thick book or anything that you can sturdily put your hands on. All right guys, so let's get started laying on our backs. Draw the knees into the chest. And just relax the shoulders down. Let the head be heavy. We'll just take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, fill up the belly, fill up the lungs. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Again, inhale through the nose. Open the mouth. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Now just breathing gently in and out of the nose. Let's draw our right knees into the chest and plant your left foot onto the floor. We'll just take a couple of hip circles to warm up the hips here. You might hear a little bit of snap, crackle, pop, that's okay. Just opening up. Maybe closing your eyes so you can really tune into the feelings and the sensations. Turning this into a mindful movement practice. That's what makes yoga different than just any other workout or stretching, is being mindful about the movements and linking our breath, right? All right, so once you've gotten into that hip, circling a little bit both directions, you'll hug that knee in and then place your right ankle over your left knee. And for some of you, this might be enough, right? You might start to feel it across your hip just by drawing your right knee gently away. But if you want a little bit more, you can hug your left knee into the body and either grab behind your thigh and interlace your fingers there, or you can grab onto the shin. Either way, make sure that you flex both of your feet. That will help to keep your knees safe. You can just sway side to side a little bit here, and that way you can find some different points in the hip and see where it will kind of feel good for you. Make sure to relax your shoulders. And again, remember to breathe. And we'll just take a couple more breaths here. Really starting to open up our hip in this figure four. Maybe finding stillness for the last few breaths. And then release that foot down to the floor. And you'll hug your left knee into the body, right foot planted on the floor. And start making circles into that hip. Going in different directions. Just getting the joints moving, warming them up. And then we'll bring that knee into the chest. And your left ankle will go over your right knee this time. And just take a moment to see how this side feels. We're usually not symmetrical, so one side might be tighter than the other. So just take it step by step. Maybe you'll go a little deeper, interlacing the fingers either behind the right thigh or over the right shin. And whichever one you choose, make sure you're not rounding your shoulders forward, trying to reach for something that maybe is a little deeper than you need to go today. Just stick with whatever feels right for you. Maybe sway side to side. Make sure to flex both feet. And the shoulders are relaxing down. Take out any of the tension from the sides of the neck, from the jaw. Just breathe into any of these places of tension. then find stillness for the last few moments. And go ahead and release, hugging both knees into the chest. We're going to rock up and down the spine just a couple of times, warming up the spine, getting us moving a little. And then we'll cross the ankles and rock over to hands and knees. Good, so find your fingers spread here and really pressing the ground down away from you. Make sure that your knees are right under your hips, wrists under the shoulders. And you'll drop the belly, inhale, shoulders move back, look up. Exhale, round the spine, press the ground away. A couple of cat-cows here. Inhale, moving forward. Exhale, go ahead and move back. One more time, inhale and exhale. Now we're going to start to get into the hips a little bit here as we move. So just finding small hip circles, getting into the shoulders too, dropping the belly, and breathing here, linking the breath and the movement. Good. So you might start with smaller hip circles, and then maybe we'll start to move in and out of a child's pose, getting into bigger hip circles here. And then come back to center, and we'll circle the other way. So starting with the smaller hip circles, letting your neck be relaxed here. And then taking it a little bit bigger, making bigger circles, feeling all the different points of the hips. Good, and then come back to center, walk your hands forward. We'll tuck the toes under, come into downward facing dog. Really spread through the fingers, firm the hands down. Find strong arms, and start to pedal out the feet here. You can just bend one knee and straighten the other, or maybe you like bringing the heels side to side, swing the hips side to side. Just find a little bit of movement for a couple more breaths. And then find stillness in your down dog. Arms are firmed in towards each other. Belly pulls up. Hips move up and back. Legs are strong. And then we'll come down onto our knees and step our right foot forward in between the hands. Start to sink the hips low here. You can walk your back knee back a little bit so you're more on the top of your knee rather than right on the kneecap. If you want to pad up your knee with a blanket, that's always a good option. So just take a moment here, sinking into the hips. If you want, you can bring your fingertips up onto blocks to give yourself a little bit more height. And then you'll take your hands onto your thigh and press down. Lengthen your belly up. You don't want to take this too much into your low back. So pressing down into the thighs, down into the feet to lift yourself up. And then maybe you'll add the arms with it. Breathing here. And lower your hands down to the blocks or to the floor. And you'll bring both blocks to the inside of your right foot and walk your right foot out to the right a little bit. We'll come into lizard pose. So if you want to stay up on the blocks, it's a good place to start, especially if you're really tight in the hips. Or you can come down to the floor, hands to the mat. And again, starting to sway side to side, opening up the hip. Drawing that right knee in towards the body, squeezing the inner thighs together. Taking a couple breaths, open across the chest, Make sure you're not rounding down here, right? You want to keep your neck nice and long, your chest open. And then once you start to open up a little bit and the hips start to release tension, you might want to take it a little deeper. So if you have your block, you can bring your forearms down to the block. Again, make sure to roll your shoulders back. Open up the chest. Really breathing here, just closing the eyes and sending the breath into the hip. Allowing it to open up. Try not to resist too much. Keep the belly drawing in to support the body. One more breath. And then we'll slowly start to lift ourselves out and come back to hands and knees and move that block out to the side. Tuck the toes under and come into downward facing dog. Just for a breath or so to kind of clear that out. And then we'll come down onto our knees and step our left foot forward in between the hands. Again, grab your blocks if you use them on the first side, or if you feel a little tighter on this side. And you'll start just by sinking into the hips a little bit here, bending the knee forward, trying to open up the chest, squeezing the inner thighs together. Take the hands, clasp them onto the top of the thigh, and press down. Really press into the earth with the feet. Get strong in the legs and lift the belly up. Lift the sides of the waist up. So the bottom half of your body is pressing and firm down into the ground, and the top half is lifting up and being light. And so maybe you'll add the arms here, keeping the inner thighs squeezed in together, belly pulls in. And then release the hands down and bring both blocks to the inside of the foot. You'll walk the left foot out to the side a little bit. And just see how it feels here. You want to make sure you're not rounding forward. Open up across the chest. Use the belly to help you pull up the body. And then maybe you'll find a little bit of a deeper variation, just depending on how the side feels. Swing side to side a little. And then once your hip starts to open up, maybe you'll take a block and come on down to your forearms. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together, toning the belly. Roll the shoulders back, chest up. Make sure you're not just dropping your neck here, right? Even if you have a heavy head, try to keep the sides of the neck long. Just take a couple more breaths here. Close the eyes. And then come back up onto your hands. Move the block off to the side. And come down to hands and knees. We'll tuck the toes under and come back into downward facing dog. You might feel a big difference here. Feel a lot more open, more spacious. Just take a couple of breaths here to clear it out, even out on both sides. And then come back down onto your knees. And we're gonna come into pigeon pose. So have your blanket close by, and also have your blocks or books or whatever you have close to you. You'll step your right foot forward and walk the foot out to the right and let the knee come on to the right side. So you could either have your shin parallel with the top of the mat, or you'll have your foot closer to the body. So for a lot of us, we're really tight, and it's nice to have a blanket underneath the right hip. You can sit up on the blanket there and to take blocks underneath the hands. So the blocks will help you to lift yourself up. So I want you to be really conscious of your back leg here. Spin your inner thigh up towards the ceiling and really firm the top of the foot down into the earth. So take a couple of breaths here to find center, find where you're comfortable, and come up upright onto your blocks or hands just on fingertips next to you. Roll the shoulders back, pull the belly up. And then after a few moments of settling in this way, you can start to walk yourself forward. So if you have blocks or anything, you can always put your forearms onto the blocks, or you can even try, I like putting my block at the highest height and just letting my forehead rest there. So find what's comfortable for you, and we're going to take a couple of breaths here. This can be a really intense stretch on the hips, so try to stick with it. And if it starts to feel like it's a little too much or you feel a little anxious, just take a deep breath in through the nose and open the mouth. That seems to be really helpful for me. Just a couple more breaths here. And then slowly start to walk yourself up. And we'll just roll over to the right side and bring the left leg forward. Go ahead and take the blanket out to the side. And so this time we'll take your left foot towards the right side of the mat and the knee towards the left side. And go ahead and bring your right leg behind you. See if you like that blanket underneath your left hip. And find what's comfortable with your leg. I like to have my heel in closer to my body because my hips are pretty tight. Find your blocks and start to prop yourself up, and then become conscious of your back leg. Spin the inner thigh up towards the ceiling, top of the foot presses down. And first just find a little bit of strength in your core, squeezing the inner thighs together, sitting upright, shoulders are relaxed, belly pulls in. Just breathing into this pose. And then if it feels okay, you can start to walk yourself forward, either with the blocks or coming all the way down and resting your head on something. Continue to squeeze the inner thighs together, but also start to let go a little. The more we try to resist it, the more pain it will cause us. So try to just release and surrender to it. So let's take a deep inhale here together. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Just a couple more breaths. Concentrating on the inhales and the exhales. And just allowing the body to do its thing. And then slowly walk yourself up. And we'll bring that back leg out in front of us. Move your props off to the side. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. I'm gonna face you guys. Soles of the feet together. And open up your feet like a book. If you want to sit up on something, you can always sit up on a blanket to give yourself a little more height. We'll inhale here, and then exhale, come forward. Letting the hips really release here. You should be a little bit more open now than when you started. And then slowly roll it up. And we'll bring the knees together. And go ahead and come on down to your back. And we're going to reach our arms to the inside of our thighs and reach your hands to grab either onto your shins or the pinky toe side of your foot, whatever's available for you here. And so you're going to flex your feet and face your feet towards the top of the ceiling, like you're standing on the ceiling, and knees will come down towards the floor. Relax the shoulders here. This is happy baby pose. And I like to rock side to side. This is a really great hip opener. So what we're going to do from here is keep the right foot where it is. And we'll slowly start to release the left foot and plant that left foot down onto the floor. And really firm that foot like you're standing down on the floor. And see if you can release that right knee maybe a little bit deeper. Just breathing here. Make sure to flex that foot. And then slowly bringing the left foot back into your happy baby pose. And you'll release the right foot down. Plant that foot on the floor and really stand down. And slowly see if you can release the left knee a little bit deeper. Remember to breathe here. Always staying with your breath. And then we'll go ahead and release that foot down. Hug both knees into the chest. And just roll over to your right side. And prop yourself up for one moment. We're going to set up for a really nice, comfortable Shavasana. So take your blanket. And we're going to roll it up like a big, long roll. Bring the soles of your feet together again and take the center of the roll to the top of your feet, and then you'll just fold the edges underneath your shins. If your hips are a little tight, you'll want to grab your blocks and you'll place them underneath your thighs, not under your knees, but under your thighs. And that will help to support you a little bit. And then from there, just slowly release down onto the ground. You can adjust a little bit once you get there. Tuck your shoulders underneath the body. Hands will face the ceiling. And take one more deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it all go. The body as it's supported by the props and by the floor. And allow it just to release down, releasing any tension that you may be holding. And then slowly start to deepen your breath. Begin to come back to the room, wiggling your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you'll draw the knees together and hug the knees into the chest. Carefully roll onto your right side, be careful of your props. And then make your way up to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed if possible. Sitting up nice and tall, rolling the shoulders down and back, feeling the crown of the head lift up towards the ceiling. And bring your hands to your heart. And take a moment to thank yourself today for the work that you put in on your mat. And just remember to be gentle with yourself in yoga and as you move through your day. Namaste.